Welcome back everybody. So this is gonna be a quick update video for you guys on stock market, and before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now if you want to get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and you want to support the channel, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. So Dow is absolutely flat on the day. We got Nasdaq going down almost 2%, S&P going down almost 1%, and Russell going up 3.59%. So definitely a rotation going on back into small caps and Dow Jones. And here's 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500 and completely risk-off move today. On top, leading the way, and you don't see this too often, real estate leading the way on top, utilities, basic materials, industrials, energy, and then we have financial, healthcare. Look at here on bottom. Technology down over 2%, communication services down over 2%, consumer cyclical also down almost 0.5%. So a lot of rotation going on back into money actually flowing back into real estate, utilities, basic materials, industrials, energy stocks, and coming out of where? Definitely a lot of money coming out of technology, communication services, and consumer cyclical. So reason I started my video with rotation going on, you can see, this side of the screen is all green. Especially look at smaller regional banks, and even some of these big banks are kind of flat. Nothing big going on here, but definitely a lot of green right here, a lot of green right here. And what's happening here, you can see money actually coming out of where? Look at this big name here, Nvidia down almost 6%, Microsoft down 2.5%, Apple down same thing, almost 2.5%. Google down almost 3%, and Meta going down over 4%. And look at the mess right here. And I've been warning people about Tesla, possibly a pullback, especially on my big mega cap stock video that I make pretty much every day. That Tesla definitely not a dip buy, and you can see why. And right now, after hour, this thing is down another 2%. So in one day, it's down over almost 11%. Amazon, cyclical name, also going down today 2.37%, and you can see energy names are up in the green. A lot of industrials names also going up in the green. Costco also took a massive beating today because this thing, it's been going up for a long time, and you can see some money actually rotating back into names like Target, and then we got KO, even McDonald's right here going up today. So a lot of rotation going on. So definitely, yes, market sold off, but where? Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500. Nothing big on Dow Jones. Kind of a flat day. It's taking a breather. That's actually a breakout. We'll talk about it in this video. And also there is a breakout on IWM. Massive breakout to the upside. And we'll talk about that also here in this video. So stay tuned. You're going to see a lot of things here in this video, guys. And you can see it right here on my screen. And that was like 4 days ago right here. I did call this out on IWM. It's coiling up right here. And look at today, this thing exploded. So when you look at patterns like this, also I talked about it before in my video that, we're not going down maybe 2%, but don't count that out. We might go down 2%, 3% in just one day. And what I said in my last video, especially about Nasdaq 100, definitely happened today. Went over 2% in just one day. I think that was the biggest move we have seen in last maybe couple weeks, going down over 2% in just one trading session, guys. So this access actually totally free, and especially if you want to support the channel, you do get some fantastic trade ideas right here, daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading. And definitely you get my chart, and I do post a lot of things right here on my Discord. When I see a good pattern like this one and some of the other ones, I'm not going to share all that. I do post, and you can see the result. This thing exploded to the upside. So definitely if you want to help out the channel and support it, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. So let's get started with IWM, and this thing is up 3.59%, and you can see the rotation definitely happening. A lot of money flowing into smaller regional banks, and especially on small caps, Russell 2000, and you can see this massive gap up and go. From this wedge, this was the perfect wedge and the breakaway gap with high volume today. Now, are we going to see some sort of a retracement, a pullback? Well, that is definitely on the card, and I think that is possible. But watch out, going into tomorrow's session, we do have PPI coming out tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. So that's going to be another market moving event. If we see some sort of a rotation back into some tech stocks and maybe even NASDAQ 100, we might see a bit of a pullback here on IWM. And in that case, there will be support right here around 210, and below that right down here 207, and then we can possibly talk about filling this gap around 203 to 204. Now that's going to be an absolute dip buy on a retest of this breakout if that happens on IWM. Now to the upside, definitely yes, we broke out today here on IWM, but this thing is getting a bit frothy, overextended. Look at this upper Bollinger Band sitting at 206.64, and the ETF itself trading at almost 212. So I think there will be a retracement, if not tomorrow, early next week. At least back down to, I would say, 207 to 206, maybe even down to this gap, 203.59. And from here, we could see more upside on IWM as long as the support can hold. Now, if this thing continues and breaks over, I would say 212, next stop, definitely this thing can move in a big way. And I'm talking about like 220s on IWM, and that can really happen over 212. Right here, you can see multiple rejection around in 211, 212. So if that holds, this thing can move even higher, just like we saw on big stocks recently, like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, even AMD. These things breaking out to the upside, and then there was actually more upside, and then we saw some significant selling today on those big names. So that can really happen as a pattern. And this breakout, it can happen, but keep that in mind, it's getting overstretched to the upside. So we might see a pullback and some sort of a rotation back into NASDAQ 100 and even on S&P 500, where in this case, we might see a bit of a cool off right here on IWM, and this thing can come off possibly down to this gap, 203.59. But if this continues, then definitely 220, definitely that can happen here on small caps. On QQQ, it's down 2.19%, so massive bearish engulfing candle, and definitely money flowing out of NASDAQ 100 and going back into small caps. And that is what we saw today. You know, one part of the market is absolutely green, and big mega cap stocks are taking a beating, especially Tesla down almost 10% right now. Now, even on my last video, you guys saw the thumbnail, and this was the exact thing that I had on my thumbnail, that CPI trap, there was an arrow coming down on that CPI, and this is exactly what's happening. And from here, we might find a higher low and things can bounce. So far, there is no signs of any bounce, but you can see gap was at 491, and this was the previous high right here, 491. So that is what actually QQQ holding, and that needs to hold right here, 491. Below that, you will see a dump off down to 487, and then rising 20-day moving average, that's going to be a strong support, 485. Now, under 485, things will completely change. And you cannot ignore the fact that we got big bearish engulfing candle, high volume selling today. So if that continues with PPI tomorrow, watch out. The next support below 491, 487, 485. And if that gives up, game over, down to 478. And then in a quick time, this gap will come into play, 468. Now to the upside, anywhere here, 491, 487, maybe even 485. These are anywhere where QQQ can find higher low, and this could be dip buying opportunities. As long as support can hold, you can play to the upside, and to the upside it needs to get over 5-day moving average, 497.23, and if that happens, back up to 500 again. But be careful, especially with big bearish engulfing candle and also high volume selling today that we saw, especially here on NASDAQ 100. On SPY ETF, it's down 0.86%. So this one here, yes, we got some selling, but not significant as QQQ, because we do have some financial name going up today and kept S&P 500 higher, not going down that much. But you can see this 5-day moving average definitely trying to hold 556.71, pretty much closing right here, right on this 5-day moving average, and 556 gives up, then watch out guys. This thing can dump easily down to this range right here, 551 to even 548 and then 543. Now as long as 556 can hold, watch out for a move back up to 560, and over 560 we can talk about possibly another brand new all-time high on SPY ETF. But be careful, even here we saw some selling, not significant as Nasdaq 100, but it can accelerate, and if that happens we could see a bigger sell-off right here on S&P 500. On Dow Jones, it's absolutely flat on the day, and you can see same thing, same pattern, just like IWM. We broke out. I actually played this yesterday, getting into these lows right down here, actually under 393, picking up some calls, and this thing I sold at the end of the day at 397. So this thing did not really move that much today, and the breakout definitely holding, and we do have all these moving averages now positive sloping to the upside. So that is a bull trend right here on DIA, and that can continue, and we can possibly put in a brand new all-time high. The next stop right here on DIA definitely 400, and over 400 you're going to see brand new all-time high, and definitely blue sky above 400 on Dow Jones. Now if there was any kind of a pullback tomorrow with PPI, we need to watch this support carefully, 395. As long as 395 can hold, this was the second breakout point after this wedge breakout, 395. As long as this support can hold, rising 5-day moving average also at 395, that's going to be a dip buying opportunity, and you can play it to the upside all the way up to 400. Underneath 395, there will be more selling down to 393 and then 390, and under 390 this thing can dump in a really bad way all the way down to 385.73, down to even 384. On VIX is up 0.5%, so nothing big, but you can see there is a lot of consolidation, and today got over 13, came back, and these two Bollinger Bands are squeezing VIX right here. So yes, we could see explosive move to the upside, and that can happen in a really quick time guys. So be careful, if this thing gets over 13, holds 13, we can definitely see a squeeze all the way up to 15 bucks, and over 15 guys, definitely there will be a decent pullback here in the market, and you're going to see a lot more selling, so watch out. Now to the downside, well, there's nothing really here to the downside. This thing can hold right here around this 5-day moving average, and so far that is holding 12.63 right here, and below that level we do have support right here around 11.80 to even 12 bucks right here. So I mean, there is nothing really to look at to the downside on VIX, but definitely keep an eye on a breakout over 13 and especially over 15 bucks. So the dollar actually kind of a flat day, but look at this dump off on dollar. I mean, this thing was holding right here, almost getting that perfect bounce off of this trend line, and since that CPI came out and it was perfectly cooked up and it was really nice, I mean everything came off and it was really good, right? But the market was already running before that, pricing in that CPI, so market had to sell off. Especially Nasdaq 100 was already up so much, S&P 500 was already up so much, and the RSI was off the page. So this sell-off is nothing but healthy, and it was due, you know, it was coming anyway. So now dollar here, I mean this thing falling off the cliff, and look at this, pretty much holding 104.48 as a support, not even there guys. So dollar definitely breaking down in a big way today, and look at this weekly time frame. I mean, this is not looking good. We need to get a bounce immediately here on dollar, otherwise this trend line is definitely breaking down, and if that happens, the next stop below 104.48, this thing can come down to 103 and possibly can go much lower. And you know what that means, right? You know, market will rally again, especially S&P 500. Now to the upside, if this thing can now break and hold 105, then you're going to see some continuation to the upside. Until then, just watch dollar to break and hold 105, and if this thing cannot break that, then watch out for continuation to the downside, possibly down to 103.58 and then flat 103. Those are going to be the next strong support on dollar below 104.48.